So we are in,
Page 441, last line. Who
yes,
laid on it the ceaseless will to live?
yes. It is book six, the book of fate,
Yeah,
Canto 2, the way of fate, and the problem of pain. So this is the queen still speaking
yeah,
to Narad and voicing her understanding of life and the world and her complaints
mm,
about this sorrowful world, as she calls it. So we'll go to page 442 now.
yeah. Who laid on it the ceaseless will to live? A wanderer in this beautiful, sorrowful world, and bear its load of joy and grief and love. Or if no being watches the works of time, what hard impersonal necessity compels the vain toil of brief living things? A great illusion then has built the stars, but where then is the soul's security, its place in its circling of unreal suns?
Very good reading so far. The only thing is you accented then a little bit,
Yeah, I also felt that after I read it.
but all the rest of it was quite good.
Okay.
Uh, yes, very, very good. So then she asks, who has done this? Who has
Yeah.
made this whole creation and and who laid on it this will to live that doesn't give up and to become a wanderer in this beautiful, sorrowful world and to bear its load of oh, so many things, grief and joy and love. Uh, it's not an easy thing. And she puts a question mark at the end of that.
Yeah.
And then she goes into another thought and she says, or if nobody is watching these works of time, what kind of impersonal necessity compels the vain toil of brief living things that could that applies to humans, it applies to animals, it applies to insects, birds, everything.
Mm.
What compels this vain toil of brief living things? Because we're all in terms of eternity and infinity, we all live very briefly.
Yeah.
What's 100 years? It's nothing.
Yeah.
If we even live to 100. So then she says, a great illusion then has built the stars. And we'll carry on now.
A great illusion then has built the stars, but where then is the soul's security, its poise in the circling of unreal suns? Or else is it a wanderer from its home who
No,
strayed,
or else it is, not
or
is.
else it
She
is,
doesn't
yeah,
ask a question here. She
she's
says
stating,
it is.
yeah. Or else it is a wanderer from its home who strayed into a blind ally of time and chance. Is it ally or
Uh,
ally?
it's an alley.
Ally. Who strayed
Now,
into a
like
blind
in the big cities, you have these houses built up and you
in the
have
alleys.
alleys running
Yeah,
between them.
yeah.
This is an alley, a blind alley of time and chance.
Chance. And finds no issue from a meaningless world.
So, what is this issue? An issue is an ultimate result,
Hmm.
an outcome. There's no outcome from a meaningless world
Hmm.
because what is it? Some wanderer from its home who strayed into this blind alley of time and chance and finds no issue for
Hmm.
a meaningless world. And then she asks another question.
Or where begins and ends illusion's reign? Perhaps the soul we feel is only a dream, eternal self of fiction sensed in trance.
Now you're starting to get the feeling of the lines finally. You're just, it's flowing through you now. See, it
Mhm.
took us a little while, but not that long.
Yeah,
Very, very nice. Very nice reading. So that ends at the moment
yeah,
her complaints to Narad. And
yeah,
not only that, but her thoughts, whether there's some kind of necessity that has built this, or is it just an illusion? Uh,
mm,
so she asks these many, many questions, and
yeah,
or it's a wanderer. So we have a wanderer, we have an illusion, we have a necessity, and actually she uses wanderer twice,
yeah, and even illusion twice.
and in only a few lines. So
Yeah,
she's going through all of this, working through all of these questions to Narad, and
mm.
then he is going to answer her.
Narad, I was wondering if we must go to the answer or because her question runs for over 2 pages. So should we just just read her entire question and then
You mean in the previous pages?
pages? Yeah,
Well, certainly we can do that.
yeah,
Yes, and it's a good idea because when he speaks, oh, he brings such beauty and light into the world and into her.
yeah.
So yes, we can do that. We certainly can do that. So let's go back. What shall we go
The
back to? Page
beginning of the canto, no? 437.
437,
Yeah,
and it's a big thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
O seer, in the earth's strange, twi-natured life, but what pitiless adverse necessity, or what cold freak of a Creator's will, by what random accident or governed chance, that shaped a rule out of fortuitous steps, made destiny from an hour's emotion, came into the unreadable mystery of time, the direr mystery of grief and pain.
No, but that's a question.
It, the direr mystery of grief and pain. Is it thy God who made this cruel law? Or
It's
some disastrous power has marred his work, and he stands helpless to defend or save? A fatal seed was sown in life's false start, when evil twinned with good on earthly soil. Then first appeared the malady of mind, its pang of thought, its quest for the aim of life. It twisted its form, it twisted into forms of good and ill, the frank simplicity of the animal's acts. It turned the straight path hewn by the body's gods, followed the zigzag of the uncertain course of life that wanders,
yes, but it's
seeking.
the course of life. Make the connection.
Okay. Followed the zigzag of the uncertain course of life that wanders, seeking for its aim in the pale starlight, falling through thought's skies,
Falling from
falling from. Let me
a little bit
concentrate
more
again.
slowly, a little more slowly, so
Yeah.
you catch all the words. We don't have to rush.
Yeah. In the pale starlight falling from thought's skies, It guides the unsure idea, the wavering will. Lost was the instinct's safe identity with the arrow point of being's inmost sight, marred the sure steps of nature's simple walk, and truth and freedom in the growing soul. Out of some ageless innocence and peace, privilege of souls not yet betrayed to birth, cast down to suffer on this hard, dangerous earth, our life was born in pain and with a cry. Although earth nature welcomes heaven's breath, inspiring matter with the will to live, a thousand ills assail the mortal's hour and wear away the natural joy of life. Our bodies are an engine cunningly made, but for all its parts as cunningly are planned, contrived, ingenious,
Contrived, contrived.
contrived, contrived ingeniously with demon skill, its apt, inevitable heritage, or mortal danger and peculiar pain, its payment of the tax of time and fate, its way to suffer and its way to die. This is the ransom of our high estate, the sign and stamp of our humanity, a grisly company of melodies, come licensed lodgers into man's bodily house, purveyors of death and torturers of life. In the malignant hollows for the in the malignant hollows of the world, in its subconscient cavern passages, ambushed, they lie waiting their hour to leap, surrounding with danger the sieged city of life, admitted into the citadel of man's days. They mine his foes and maim or suddenly kill. Ourselves within us lethal forces nurse. We make of our own enemies our guests. Out of their holes, like beasts, they creep and gnaw. The chords of the divine musician's lyre, frayed and thin, the music dies away, or crashing, snaps with a last tragic note. All that we are is like a fort beset. All that we try, all that we strive to be, alters like a dream in the grey sleep of matter's ignorance. Mind suffers, lamed by the world's disharmony and the unloveliness of human things. A treasure misspent or cheaply, fruitlessly sold in the bazaar of blind destiny,
Of
a
a
gift
blind destiny.
in the bazaar of a blind destiny, a gift of priceless value from time's gods, lost or mislaid in an uncaring world. Life is a marvel missed, an art gone dry, a seeker in a dark and obscure place, an ill-armed warrior facing dreadful odds, an imperfect worker given a baffling task, an ignorant judge of problems ignorance made. Its heavenward flights reach closed and keyless gates. Its glorious outbursts peter out in mire. On nature's gifts to man a curse was laid. All walks enarmed by its own opposites. Error is a comrade of our mortal thought, and falsehood lurks in the deep bosom of truth. Sin poisons with its vivid flowers of joy, or leaves a red scar burned across the soul. Virtue is a grey bondage and a jail. At every step is laid for us a snare, alien to reason and the spirit's light.
Yeah,
Our
but see, this you're reading very well, very well. No strong criticisms at all. But try to pay a little more attention to full stops, commas, semicolons, and colons,
okay.
because very often the sense of her complaints to Narad change. So
Hmm.
at every step is laid for us a snare, full stop.
Yeah.
And then she begins with another thought, alien to reason.
Okay.
Mhm.
At every step is laid for us a snare, alien to reason and the spirit's light, our fount of action from a darkness wells in
No,
ignorance,
no, from a darkness wells.
from a darkness
Semicolon.
wells in ignorance and nescience of our roots. A growing register of calamities is the past's account, the future's book of fate. The centuries pile man's follies and man's crimes upon the countless crowd of nature's ills, as if the world's stone load was not enough. A crop of miseries obstinately is sown by his own hand in the furrows of the gods. The vast increasing tragic harvest reaped from old misdeeds buried by oblivious time. He walks by his own choice into hell's trap. This mortal creature is his own worst foe. His science is an artificer of doom. He ransacks earth for means to harm his kind. He slays his happiness and others' good. Nothing has learned from time and its history, even as
Nothing has he learned.
nothing has he learned from time and its history, even as of old in the raw of even as of old in the raw youth of time, when earth ignorant ran on the highways of fate, old forms of sin, old forms of evil cling to the world's soul, war making now not
Not, yes, not.
war making not the sweet smiling calm of life. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacre are still the fierce pastimes of man's warring tribes. An idiot hour destroys what centuries made. His wanton rage or frenzied hate lays low the beauty and greatness by his genius wrought, and the mighty output of a nation's toil. All he has achieved he drags to the precipice. His grandeur he turns to an epic doom. His grandeur he turns to an epic of doom and fall. His littleness crawls content through squalor and mud. He calls heaven's retribution on his head and wallows in his self-made misery.
It's more of a
Ah,
wallow,
wallows, okay,
not wallow,
wallows,
not
wa-
wallows, wallows.
wallows,
Yeah.
and wallows in his self-made misery. A part author of the cosmic tragedy, his will conspires with death and time and fate. His brief appearance on the enigmad earth,
Enigmad.
enigmad, his
Enigmad.
brief appearance on the enigmad earth ever recurs but brings no high result to this wanderer through the eon rings of God that shut his life in their vast longevity. His soul's wide search and ever returning hopes pursue the useless orbit of their course in a vain repetition of lost toils
In a
across
in a vain repetition.
in a vain repetition of lost toils across a track of soon forgotten lives. All is an episode in a meaningless tale. Why is it all, and wherefore are we here? If to some being of eternal bliss it is our spirit's destiny to return, or some still impersonal height of endless calm, since that we are, and out of that we came, whence rose the strange and sterile interlude,
Yeah,
last
but that's a question. Whence rose? Whence rose
whence
the
rose
strange?
the strange and sterile interlude, lasting in vain through interminable time. Who willed to form or feign a universe in the cold and endless emptiness of space? Or if these beings must be, and their brief lives, what need had the soul of ignorance and tears? Whence rose the call for sorrow and for pain? Or all came helplessly without a cause? What power forced the immortal spirit to birth? The eternal witness once of eternity, a deathless sojourner mid transient scenes, he camps in life's half-lit obscurity, amid the debris of his thoughts and dreams, or who persuaded it to fall from bliss,
Persuaded.
persuaded, or who persuaded it to fall from bliss and forfeit its immortal privilege,
Forfeit. Forfeit.
forfeit, who persuaded it to fall from bliss and forfeit its immortal privilege,
Good.
who laid on it the ceaseless will to live, a wanderer in this beautiful, sorrowless, a wanderer in this beautiful, sorrowful world, and bear its load of joy and grief and love. Or if no being watches the works of time, what hard impersonal necessity compels the vain toil of brief living things,
Vain. Vain.
compels the vain toil of brief living things? A great illusion then has built the stars, but where then is soul's security, its poise in the circling of unreal suns? Or else is it a wanderer,
It is.
or else it
Is.
is a wanderer from its home, who strayed into a blind alley of time and chance, and finds no issue from a meaningless world. Or where begins and ends illusion's reign? Perhaps the soul we feel is only a dream. Eternal self is a fiction sensed in trance.
No, not is a, but just a fiction.
Eternal self, a fiction sensed in trance.
Well, this is an amazing reading you have done. So many pages and so well read. My goodness. But if we look at it as a whole, as you have
Hmm.
just done, do you see much difference in the world today from what she is saying?
Not much.
Much.
We are kind of fighting the same battle.
Same balance, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And not only that, but her summations.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is the way it is, or maybe everything's an illusion.
Yeah.
So she sees, she doesn't know. She no longer knows because she's so stricken from Narad's talk that Satyavan will die
Mm.
in a year, that
Mm.
all of this is coming up in her. And what Sri Aurobindo is giving us here is the world vision of some of the, I would say, even qualified great minds
Mm.
who saw in the earth a place of sorrow, of grief, of pain, and decided either to get out of it
Mm.
into some heaven or supernal place, such as the Abrahamic religions or even the Muslims,
Mm.
or as the Buddhists just say it's all illusion and pass into nirvana
Mm.
and forget the earth.
Mm.
So all of them have forgotten the earth.
Mm.
That's what we're going to come to in our next session on Thursday.
Yeah.
When
But Narad, can we just start it because today is the winter solstice and it's the great conjugation. So I was thinking maybe we can begin to step into Narad's lines and then we stop so
okay,
that
I
we
think
put it on.
it's a good
So that
idea. It's a good idea. Yes.
then, after a silence, Narad made reply,
No,
turning,
it's made reply.
made
It's a full colon. It's a colon.
okay. Then, after a silence, Narad made reply, tuning his lips to earthly sound, he spoke, and something now of the deep sense of fate weighted the fragile hints of mortal speech. His forehead shone with vision, his forehead shone with vision solemnized, turned,
Solemnized. Yes.
solemnized, turned to a tablet of supernal thoughts, as if characters of an unwritten tongue had left in its breath the in had left in its breath the indescription in I'll read that again. As if characters of an unwritten tongue had left in its breath the inscriptions of the gods. Bare in that light time toiled his unseen works, detected the broad flung, far seeing schemes, unfinished, which his aeoned flight unrolls, were mapped already in that world-wide look. Was then the sun a dream because there is night? Hidden in the mortal's heart, the eternal's lives,
Lives.
eternal lives. Hidden in the mortal's heart, the eternal lives. He lives secret in the chamber of thy soul. A light shines there, nor pain nor grief can cross. A darkness stands between thyself and him. Thou canst not hear or feel the marvellous guest. Thou canst not see the
Beatific.
beatific.
Beatific Son. Yes.
Thou canst not see the beatific sun. O Queen, thy thought is a light of the ignorance. Its brilliant curtain hides from thee God's face. It illumines a world born from the inconscience, but hides the immortal's meaning in the world. Thy mind's light hides from thee the eternal's thought. Thy heart's hope hide from thee the eternal's will. Earth's joys shut from thee the immortal's bliss.
That's where we should end, I think.
Yeah, I was also thinking. So then we can go into explanation. As I start the next class, I'll reread this and we can go into the explanations.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
What a journey it is. Huh?
Yeah.
You know, all the people that I do Savitri with, they can't wait for the next session.
This is
So,
very true. Because we stop at pauses. Like today, I was like, oh, I want to hear what Narad is speaking,
yes, yes,
And also, the queen has like spoke so much of darkness, and so, like I asked you in the last session, like I know Sri Aurobindo is going to give her the answer, and these are also questions we battle, or personally, I battle within myself also, and then I'm so eager to hear how Sri Aurobindo is explaining it through Narad's words. And here he has already started. He is saying it's because it's hidden. And the first question itself, was then the sun a dream? Because there is night. That's such a profound sentence to stay with.
most beautiful lines in Savitri.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, it's bringing, it's over, like I'm welling up. But such a profound line every time something negative hits. It's such a sentence to remember. Was
Yes,
then the sun a dream because there is night? So profound.
yeah,
Yeah.
very good, very good. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Narad.